Well, and we also have had, going back to the music, both of us were heavily influenced by the music that our parents liked.
Oh, heck yeah.
I mean, I got all of his records, when I got older, and we would always share CDs. And we had a point in time where we were very angry with each other, but we would be okay to put in this mixtape that we had both made. And, we would play that. And then, then we could kind of be like, all right, yeah, how you doing today? Okay. You know what I mean? That was
I love that.
Yeah, that was our way.
Well, my stepdad and I connected over music as well, and he had like a huge record collection. It was awesome. He had like really like a lot of the original Beatles records that he had bought, when they first came out.
Wow.
They were not in good shape because he listened to them, and so did I. So, but it was really cool that he had them and all the original artwork and all that. And I just made mixtapes all the time, and he would make mixtapes for me. So I have that experience of like in my case, step parent, making mixtapes for you, the way that Peter's mom made mixtape for him. And yeah, mixtapes, like there's really no way to, overestimate how big of a deal mixtapes were.
They are so huge.
In like the 80s and into the 90s. Like,
yeah.
I was using mixtapes all well into my high school years. I was making mixtapes for my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I had, my car was just full of mixtapes.
Yeah. I mean, mixtapes mean something. I think, and this is such a weird comparison, but I think now a mixtape is the equivalent of when someone gives you their password to like a streaming service.
Yeah, or even
it's
just
like that kind of, I don't know. Do you get what I mean?
Definitely like sharing a Spotify. Spotify.
I got a Spotify.
Definitely like sharing a Spotify playlist.
Yes.
Because you and I will sit in the car and I'll be like, let's put on some music. And instead of listening to music, we end up like making a playlist for like, 30 minutes. And then we have about 2 minutes to actually listen to it.
That's totally me. And every time we're done, I just want to add a new layer to
it. Rank it.
Rank it. Or should we do it by year? Or how should we go about this?
Well, I mean, this is kind of the dream for you because it's like being able to make a mixtape, but then go back in and change it. Because when you were making a mixtape, it was made.
Yeah.
Like you would have to just do another mixtape if you wanted to change the order, or, if you got to the end and you only got half a song in, which was the bummer of a lifetime.
Well, there's something about making a cassette. I don't know what it is. It makes me feel like Conan forging a new sword, But really, when you look at a CD, that is a laser. So when you would burn CDs, there was that, electrical fire. I don't know what you want to say, but
forging. Yeah, you're forging a CD,
right? But there's something about the cassette that I liked more. I think it was the physical durability of the cassette itself.
Yeah.
That plastic case, like the case that the cassette came in, I thought was neat because it was tiny. I was like, look how neat and tiny. Well, and then the cassette itself.
And you could also do like artwork on the sleeve.
Yeah.
For the cassette. You'd write down your list, your track list, but then you could also draw on it and do all kind of stuff, which was super fun. I loved that. I mean, and I think it was also more of an event. Like now when you make a Spotify playlist, I'm not saying it's bad. We love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost too easy,
Yeah, anyone can do it.
You can just do it. You can throw everything on there. You can slide it around, change the order, or whatever. But when you were making a mixtape, like that was like an event. You had to for me, I was actually recording off of records.
Yeah.
And our record needle didn't drop straight down.
Okay.
So I had to engineer the spot.
Okay.
Where I could hit the drop and it would diagonally fall over and hit the sweet spot so I'd actually get it in the right place.
Oh, wow.
So it was, there was science involved for me. Or, we had a tape to tape deck also, so I could record tape to tape.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time I was putting records to tape. But then later we bought a CD player Like, it was a 5 CD changer.
Oh yeah.
So we really thought we were high class. And it was really fun because I got to kind of help my stepdad build his CD collection from scratch.
Oh wow, that's an honor.
It was.
That's an honor.
He joined like Columbia House. We had like multiple Columbia House memberships and BMG. And, you know, I got to pick out, you know, all the CDs for $1 at the beginning. So it was just like, what's the most important thing, you know, that we have to have, because I only get this many. So, but we went from having 0 CDs to probably having like 300, like pretty quickly.
I love that.
But that was super fun. And then I was able to add a new layer to my mixtapes where I could put CD songs onto a mixtape and tape songs and record songs. So, yeah, it was fun. And I would spend hours deciding how to do it. And then when holidays would come around, like, that was my go-to gift for my friends because they may not have access to the collection that I had access to.
Right.
So I would make, like, these totally killer mixtapes for my friends with, like, you know, we would always listen to Guns N' Roses and Cinderella, and these were, like, the bands. This is why I probably like Peacemaker so much, by the way, because they have all this hair metal stuff in them, and that's what I loved.
It's the good stuff.
When I was, like, 14. But I also was getting into, like, the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, like, when I was, like, 8, and a little bit later in high school, and I was, like, 16, my favorite band was Led Zeppelin for a while. So, like, I would end up putting all these songs on for my friends, too.
Yeah.
So that it would kind of broaden what we had access to based on, you know, from what was on the radio to what else I was interested in because of my parents.
Well, when you did the triple threat of the record, the cassette, the CD, all coming together on the cassette, you really felt like you were this mastermind.
Yeah.
You know, you were a fucking scientist.
You were like, I don't know, or like a DJ, you know, like a crazy space DJ.
Yeah, you were the best thing that ever lived. And here's where I would go next level on the cassette mixes. I would take the front label, you know, where you would write the songs. I would put it into a typewriter.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
So big time.
Yeah, like it was real, you know, like I would not tolerate any failure. Like when I put my sticker on the cassette, if it was not right, you know, we had to fix it. If I couldn't get it off cleanly, it's gone. We start over.
Oh, yes. It had to be perfect. I can imagine that. What I would do is I had kind of like a master mix that I was making for like 6 different people.
Yeah.
And then I would pepper in specific songs for each person.
Oh, I like that.
So, like, you know, if it was for my friend Ellen, I think I put in The Wind Cries Mary by Jimi Hendrix. It's like one that only she got. And then for my other friend, I would give them, you know, something specific that was just for them. So that it was just kind of like, you know, generally we were all sharing the songs, but then each person got something special. And I would draw like a special picture that was just for them on there too. So it was just cool. I mean, that was just something that I love. And in Guardians, I think they really capture how important mixtapes were.
Yeah.
I mean, Peter only has this one mixtape throughout the entire first movie.
Right.
And these songs are just like imprinted on him. You know, this is what he listens to. And it also is a connection he has to his mother.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Because she was really into listening to the radio and loved music and shared that with him. And since he doesn't have her anymore, he still has her music, and that's like his connection.
Well, a very big thing for me, a very personal thing for me, is with my father, I made a series of mix CDs. You know, some with his input, some without. And I gave them to him. And about 5 years later, he was in hospice. And, you know, he was passing away from dementia. And those CDs are what we played.
Yes, I remember. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was kind of one of the only times that because he was pretty out of it, like they keep you on morphine or whatever to keep you out of pain.
Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of the one time that he was responsive, was when a song would come on
Yeah.
that he would like. You could sense that he could hear it, and you would know, and he even would start singing along.
That was, yeah, and that was wild.
Yeah.
Because he did not look well at all.
No.
And he would start singing.
Yeah.
I mean, Eagles' Take It to the Limit was one of those songs.
Yes, I
remember.
remember.
And I was just, wow. So the power of music is something that is sacred to me and you.
Yeah.
And with James Gunn, we can certainly see that. And this movie crystallizes that with these mixes that he gets.
Yeah.
That Peter gets from his mother.